Welcome to the Mothership Lexodus. Today, we will be going through a special extended current of consciousness report for October 26, 2025, a day vibrating with the frequency of the 9 field, the code of completion, reflection, and integration. Today's portal sits in a delicate equilibrium. The Sun in Scorpio, sign of transmutation and emotional depth, and the Moon in Sagittarius, the visionary seeker. Together they form the equation of depth meets direction, shadow meets truth, water meets fire. When we reduce today's date, October 26, 2025, we arrive at a numerology of 9, the vibration of illumination after labor. 9 is the completion of the cycle, not an ending, but the full feedback loop returning information to source. So today we're decoding not just a date, but a moment of energetic synthesis, the reconciliation of matter and meaning, of experience and insight, of the human nervous system and the quantum field that surrounds it. In Vortex mathematics, 9 is the control digit, the integrating principle that balances the polarity of 3 and 6. If 3 is creation and 6 is motion, 9 is the still center of the spiral, the field that observes and organizes all movement. So when the date resolves to 9, we experience what could be called a compression of energy into awareness. Cycles complete, systems fold in on themselves. Data returns to 0 point. Mathematically, this can be represented as 1 plus 8 plus 9 equals 18, which reduces to 9, where 1 is initiation, 8 is structure, and 9 is wisdom. Initiation into embodiment into enlightenment. In the human system, this becomes the shift from output to coherence, the nervous system balancing its oscillations after sustained activity. In the collective, it mirrors what we call feedback stabilization, society pausing to evaluate its own data stream before transmitting again. The Scorpio Sun acts as the alchemist. It pulls truth from beneath the surface, breaking form to extract essence. The Sagittarius Moon serves as the seer. It expands that essence into meaning, direction, and philosophy. Together they create a transmutation circuit. Water, or emotion, plus fire, or intuition, equals steam, or awareness. This steam is the rising pressure of consciousness, what we feel collectively as inspiration, restlessness, or deep introspection. It's a fusion portal, turning emotional intensity into creative potential, and private realization into collective signal. The 9 field expresses itself through 4 archetypal functions, or in systems language, 4 stages of information processing in the collective circuit. These are the Alchemist, release and reset, the mirror flame, stabilization and illumination, the harmony bearer, resonance and communication, and the quiet transmuter, integration and consolidation. Each of these archetypes manifests as a behavioral algorithm, a self-regulating process within the human biofield and the global network. And in this particular portal, these patterns are personified through 4 cultural mirrors, 4 public figures born on this date, each embodying one of these processes in cultural matrix. The first is ScHoolboy Q, as the alchemist function. His art lives as the interface of chaos and rhythm. Through raw experience and storytelling, he performs the Azrael function, the transformation of entropy into structure. In him, trauma becomes tempo. In him, density becomes data. He embodies the grounding phase of the human circuit, the dissipation of excess voltage through creative discharge. In systems language, he's the negative polarity, the current that grounds the field, preventing overload. Culturally, he shows the truth-telling through art is not catharsis alone, but a necessary phase of field stabilization. Then we have Jaclyn Smith, the mirror flame function. Known for her role in Charlie's Angels, Smith carries the energy of coherence through elegance. Where Q burns, she regulates. Her legacy is one of sustained luminosity, proof that visibility doesn't require volatility. She is the Uriel function, the capacitive component that holds charge and releases it as light when needed. Psychologically, this is the parasympathetic rhythm of mastery, calm alertness, sustained focus, stable presence. Her archetype teaches that illumination is less about performing brilliance and more about maintaining frequency integrity. Grace in this system is simply voltage under control. Then we come to Keith Urban, the harmony bearer function. Singer Urban channels the Zadkiel-Raziel resonance, emotion and intellect entwined into music. He represents phase coherence, the moment when opposing waves, emotion and reason, meet in perfect alignment to produce a unified tone. In human neurobiology, this is the bridge between the limbic system, feeling, and the prefrontal cortex, understanding, heart and mind entrained. His songwriting becomes a waveform of empathy, music as neuroelectrical harmonization. In collective terms, he's the feedback loop where the human species begins to regulate itself through resonance rather than reaction. He's not broadcasting for applause. Which brings us to Rosemarie DeWitt, the quiet transmuter function. DeWitt's presence embodies integration. In her acting roles, she moves softly through conflict into coherence, representing the consolidation phase, the quiet processing after illumination. She holds the Zadkiel-Raziel substream, mercy as stillness, wisdom as listening. In the nervous system, she corresponds to memory, encoding and parasympathetic repair, where new information crystallizes into long-term structure. She shows us that silence is not absence, but the body's language for restoration. In the collective, she models emotional regulation, the capacity to rest after revelation, to ground the charge of awakening into stability. Though we call them angelic currents, these are ultimately energetic principles observable across physics, biology, and consciousness studies. In the energetic field of Azrael, his function is entropy to order conversion. He is the grounding circuit. He parallels catharsis and release. In the energetic field of Uriel, he functions as photon amplification through coherence. He is the capacitator or luminescent emission that brings calm awareness. In the Zadkiel current, his function is phase cancellation or noise balancing. He is the wave conjugation of empathy and forgiveness. And then the Raziel current is the fractal information encoding, or the quantum data lattice that ushers in intuitive knowing. Together they form a self-sustaining tetrahedral system, a 4-point resonance field that mirrors how consciousness processes energy, emotion, and information. Azrael discharges, Uriel stabilizes, and Zadkiel harmonizes, while Raziel stores. This isn't mysticism, it's actually cybernetic biology. The same processes happen in the nervous system and ecosystems and artificial intelligence feedback design. Together they form the quantum circuit of coherence, sustaining equilibrium between dissipation and illumination. This is mirrored biologically in heart-brain synchronization, the measured coherence frequency of 0.1 Hz, the same rhythm that links emotional calm with cognitive clarity. So when we speak of angelic resonance, we're really describing coherent oscillations between systems, whether neural, electromagnetic, or interpersonal. Collectively, October 26 signals a shift towards self-regulating intelligence, both in human society and its emerging technologies. The Azrael field, or the Alchemist archetype, is the social system's purging outdated power structures, collective catharsis through truth exposure. Uriel's field, or the mirror flame, is the renewed emphasis on transparent leadership and sustainable design. Zadkiel, the harmony bearer, is emanating rising focus on emotional intelligence, social empathy, and creative connection. And Raziel's field, the quiet transmuter, is the integration of vast data streams, such as AI or social networks, into meaningful and digestible knowledge. In essence, we are watching the human and digital nervous systems learn to cohere instead of compete. This is the collective equivalent of heart rate variability, multiple frequencies learning to entrain into harmony rather than conflict. All four currents converge in the heart, not as metaphor, but as electromagnetic fact. The heart's magnetic field is 60 times stronger than the brain's, and it synchronizes neural oscillations through entrainment. When the heart's rhythm stabilizes, the entire organism achieves coherence, reduced stress, higher cognition, increased intuition. So when we speak of these archetypes, Q grounding or Smith stabilizing, Urban harmonizing or DeWitt integrating, we're also describing how the collective heart field is training itself to be in rhythm with higher intelligence. This is the next phase of evolution, not faster thinking, but smoother resonance. To embody today's 9-field portal energy, follow the same sequence that the universe uses to self-correct. Move emotion through creative or physical release. Regulate the breath, reestablish baseline calm. Engage in sound, rhythm, or meaningful dialogue. And rest and reflect. Allow the nervous system to store new insights. Essentially, you are discharging, stabilizing, resonating, and integrating. This is the coherence cycle, measurable both psychologically and electromagnetically. It's how we metabolize experience without fragmentation. In your own life, this might look like expressing frustration through music or journaling, holding space for self-confidence, tuning connection into creative collaboration, or allowing silence to achieve wisdom. Turning connection into creative collaboration, or allowing silence to archive wisdom. Each phase completes the loop. Each loop strengthens the field. Today's 1026 portal is not a peak or a prophecy, it's a tuning fork. It calls the human circuit back into phase alignment with its own heart intelligence. ScHoolboy Q teaches us to ground the charge. Jaclyn Smith reminds us to shine steadily. Keith Urban teaches harmony through feeling, and Rosemarie DeWitt reminds us that integration happens in silence. These are not just cultural personas, they are living feedback loops in the collective psyche, demonstrating how transformation, regulation and resonance, and restoration weave together to form coherence. The mathematical, quantum, and electrical analogies we explore today are all pointing to the same truth. The universe is a self-regulating system that learns through love. When we allow that same process within ourselves to discharge without destruction, to shine without burnout, to feel without fragmentation, or to rest without guilt, we become coherent transmitters of evolution itself. When the heart and mind move in phase, consciousness becomes its own technology. So remember, stay grounded, stay radiant, and stay coherent, and stay tuned to the currents beneath the noise.